Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paddy Nicol. I'm President and CEO of Orogen Royalties. And today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our business model, about a couple of our key royalty assets and some of the catalysts that are coming up over the course of the course of 2023. And this is our forward-looking information. So when I talk to investors and I talk to shareholders about Orogen, I like to remind them about the fact of what Orogen really means. It stands for Organic Royalty Generation. And that in itself, I think, makes us quite a unique royalty company. The foundation of Orogen is built on prospect generation. And I know a lot of you know all about prospect generation, is taking that early stage idea, that geological idea, and putting it into the hands of a joint venture partner who will take the risk of drilling that project to discovery and beyond. Orogen's take on that type of business structure is to get cash payments, it's to get share payments, but the most important thing for us is to get a royalty asset. And so that's what we've been doing ever since the company merged in August of 2020. The prospect generation business within Orogen is a self-sustaining business unit for the past couple of years. It's been profitable, and so we don't put any money into that, and so we produce our royalties on a net zero basis, net zero cost basis. When we talk about organic royalty creation, we really are talking about two key assets. Both the Ermitaño and Silicon royalties are assets that were royalty assets that were generated organically. They underpin a lot of the value that's within Orogen today and provide proof of concept that the prospect generator model and generating royalties organically really works. We also do selective royalty acquisition. We did 3, in fact, last year. What you won't see Orogen doing is going into the bidding process. Our cost of capital is very high, so we can't compete in acquiring, producing royalties. Instead, we deploy our capital in a very disciplined manner, and we look using our geological expertise, our business development skills, in finding opportunities that provide strong risk-adjusted returns that will create value in the future. Quick corporate snapshot of the company, some financial highlights. Over the past 12 months, we generated $4.7 million in revenue. Of that, $4.1 million came from the Ermitaño royalty, and we'll cover off some of the royalty information in a bit here. Forecast for next year, for 2023, this year, is $6.5 million. We have a working capital of $10.7 million, and since the start of 2022, we are now earning more than we're burning. It's something I haven't been able to say for the past decade, but we're excited about that now. We have no long-term debt. We have excellent development of our royalty assets, and these are the key value drivers in the company today. We have the Ermitaño royalty. That is our one producing royalty that we have, and we're seeing increased production of that royalty over the course of this coming year, which will see us generate about $4.7 million of revenue. The Silicon is the big value creator for the future, and we're really excited by this asset. A resource update came out in this earlier this year. There's other targets, and this is a growing royalty asset, so we're excited to see what will come of this over the coming years. Again, we'll cover this off a little later on. We also have a portfolio of 20 royalties. This is a very active royalty portfolio. These royalties are fresh, they're new, they're being worked. This is not it's not a portfolio that's sat around for decades. So any one of those royalties can spring forward as the next key pillar of value for the company. We also have a very active prospect generation portfolio. Today we have 17 active partnerships through alliances and through earn and option agreements. That consists of big producing gold companies, copper companies, and a host of junior companies as well. Over the course of 2022, we created 8 new royalties. 5 were generated organically, 3 we acquired in Western Kenya. The exciting part, and this is one of the big catalysts for 2022, is that we have 8 partner-funded drilling programs that we anticipate to occur. That's like having a drill program start up every 45 days for the next year. So lots of information, and again, creating a number of discovery opportunities in the process. Capital structure, $93 million market cap. We have a share price that trades around 52 cents. I'll draw your attention to the share ownership in the right. A couple key features there. Altius Minerals, who I'm sure a lot of you know is a $1 billion royalty company themselves. They own 16% of Orogen. They buy shares actively in the market. Adrian Day in his Global Strategic Management, they own a fair bit, as does the Sprott group, primarily the group out of San Diego. We are largely a retail story. So, zeroing in on our flagship royalty assets, we'll talk about Ermitaño first. This is in Sonora, Mexico. We have a 2% NSR owned by First Majestic, very capable operator in the country. Commercial production started in late 2021 and full commercial production was achieved in 2022. There is an existing reserve of 329,000 ounces and 4.7 million ounces gold, and 4 million ounces of silver. That represents about 40% of the overall total resource that sits at Ermitaño today, so there's lots of opportunity to convert resources to reserves. And production is estimated to increase to 2,000 tons a day, which will obviously have a knock-on effect for our revenue. Over the medium term, the Silicon royalty, it's a 1% NSR. This is in the Walker Lane in Nevada. This is owned, the project is owned by AngloGold Ashanti. To date, they're being fairly cryptic on the amount of information that they released to the public, but they have indicated an estimated 300,000 ounces of annual production in the camp with the tier 1 cost profile. So that's sort of sub $1,000 an ounce. It's heap leach operation. Initial oxide resource was announced in February of last year, 3.4 million ounces and 14 million ounces of silver. That deposit remains open at depth and open along strike. So there's lots of future potential for growth. There's another zone called Merlin, which was discovered in 2020, and that is actively being worked as well. The big catalyst for Silicon is next month, AngloGold will come up with a pre-feasibility on the central Silicon area and a conceptual study on Merlin. So we're expecting those and excited about it. So we're going to move into Mexico for the time being. This is the Ermitaño royalty. As we talked about, we have a 170 square kilometer AOI where our 2% NSR is located. An ore body called Luna that sits next to Ermitaño was discovered in 2022. There will be an update of reserves on Luna coming March 2023. So there will be information, some good information coming out on that. There's an estimated 47,000 meters of drilling planned at Ermitaño to discover new resources in the area and to convert existing resources into reserves. Moving up into Nevada, this is our Silicon royalty. Again, Walker Lane near the old Bullfrog mine, if some of you know where that is, near Beatty. And this is an epithermal gold project. We have a 79 square kilometer AOI. I'll draw your attention to the graphic on the right there. That crosshatch pattern is where we have our royalty AOI. There is the inferred resource of 3.4 million ounces of gold that sits there, and you can see Merlin and some other zones as well. The interesting part of that graphic is the ground that surrounds our AOI as well. AngloGold has invested over $600 million in land acquisitions alone. It gives you a sense of the scope and scale and the intent of what AngloGold is doing. So again, we're excited to see what information will come off this project in the years to come. So one other thing we'd like to point out is any project, any joint venture, any royalty can make its way to become the next sort of pillar within our royalty group. And this is one that was announced a couple weeks ago. This is the Spring Peak project. It's owned by Headwater Gold. Again, we're in the Walker Lane district. Headwater announced a nice intercept late last year, in late 2021, 38 meters of a gram gold. They brought in Newcrest over the past year, who were investing at a minimum of $5 million over the next 3 years. A couple weeks ago, Headwater announced a really nice intercept, 34 meters over 2.74 grams per ton gold. And so these are the type of opportunities that are created through our organic royalty generation model. Further assays are pending. Orogen can hold up to a 1% NSR on this project. So, catalysts, there's multiple value creation opportunities on several fronts. As I mentioned, there's a pre-feasibility on Central Silicon. There's an initial resource on Merlin. This is occurring in late February. Resource updates in Ermitaño and exploration within the AOI, but we expect a reserve and resource update coming on March 2023. 8 drilling programs planned on our option project. And again, this is all partner-funded work throughout 2023. So we're going to see a project or a drilling program planned approximately every 45 days. Developments on our existing royalty portfolio. And so we're excited by that. And as always, trying to generate new opportunities, new ideas as they arise, and we can put them into partners' hands for future exploration. And that's us. Thank you.